Welcome, everybody, to the Carnivore Experience. My name is Bill,
I'm Wendy.
and today we are going to be talking about the top 10 considerations before starting the carnivore diet.
So, what exactly is the carnivore diet?
So, the carnivore diet is somewhat unique. If you hadn't heard about it like us, it's something that you can find out a lot of information on YouTube. But the carnivore diet is basically not a diet. It is a way of eating. It's changing and getting off of the standard American diet of carbs and sugar and moving entirely to fat and protein based and with a little bit of dairy mixed into it. Now, one of the things that I wanted to mention with this carnivore diet is there are different names as you research and go through this. And it starts out with the most extreme, which is what's called the Lion's diet. Now, the Lion's diet works for a lot of people, but it is the ultimate elimination diet. Essentially, all you are eating is beef, and that can be in the beef itself or the beef organs. You are having salt and you are drinking water, and that is it. You're not putting any other types of proteins in there like fish or chicken or pork. You are strictly stuck with beef. Then there is what is called the strict carnivore or the pure carnivore. And that again is meat, organs, salt, and water. And you'll notice that they didn't just talk about beef, they said meat. So in strict carnivore, you can have the chicken, you can have the fish, you can have the pork and the beef and lamb and other types of proteins along with that. Moving up from that is what's called relaxed carnivore. And relaxed carnivore again consists of meat and organs. Now, with relaxed carnivore, and that's kind of where Wendy and I are, you can have coffee, tea, and you can also have dairy added into that. But dairy is going to be used very sparingly, as you'll find out a little bit later. You can also add herbs and spices to your meat and your meals that you're eating. And again, always you're going to be having salt with that. So that is called relaxed carnivore. Next, we're going to move up to the meat-based keto. Everybody's heard of keto out there, and this is the meat-based version of it. And in meat-based keto, you have an emphasis on animal products, plant foods on occasion, and very few carbohydrates. If you watched our first video when we set up with Verta, basically they said we could have less than 30 grams of carbohydrates a day. And the last one is pure keto. And that on pure keto is limited protein intake, emphasis on fat and macro tracking, seeing what you're doing during the day, and then clean whole foods. Now, all of these are effective tools in obtaining good health and losing weight. But today, and what our channel is based on, is our experience doing carnivore and our version, which is the relaxed carnivore. Number two is, what is carnivore not? So if you're going to be sticking with relaxed carnivore or you're going to be going carnivore and lion diet, you're really not adding any sugars. You're not adding any carbohydrates to that. You're not adding any kind of sweets like jams, jellies. You're not doing nuts. You're not doing peanut butter. You're not doing things like that. One of the things that we've found as we've been on this journey on the carnivore diet is we've joined a couple of Facebook groups, and a lot of them are named the carnivore this or the carnivore that. And what ends up happening is people come on there and they post, well, what if I drink, a glass of orange juice in the morning and on top of that I have a bowl of Cheerios on the carnivore diet? Well, obviously you're going to find out that fruit is not part of the carnivore diet. Sugar's in that fruit juice. And having a bowl of cereal, that's going to be carbs and processed food, which is not part of the carnivore diet. There are plenty of other forums out there that you can get on that talk about, the Ketovore, which is, an in-between adding keto, and then just pure keto stuff where you can have those things. But number two is, what is carnivore not? It is strictly carnivore and meat-based with some spices. You can have your coffee. You can have, limited dairy, which we'll talk about also in another video. So moving from that, we're going to go to number three.
Which is why. What is your why for doing carnivore? We have found that the particular reason is also going to equate to your success with carnivore. So if you're looking at doing carnivore for your health because you're seeing it decline and you want to kind of pull back, and that is a great reason. Just understand that the flexibility in that coming on and off is not something you're going to want to do. There are people out there that take a challenge and they do 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and that may be your fix for getting into the dress for the wedding, whatever you want to call it. If it's strictly weight loss, it's not something you want to just dabble into just for that and out. It has to be followed a certain way, and then once you start adding the sugars back in, you're gaining the weight back. It's kind of the rhyme or reason for any diet that's out there. You join any kind of program, and we won't mention names there, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So you go on these programs, and as soon as you come off, you gain your weight back and then some. Right. Well, it's because you're taking back on the old way of eating, which is what got you into the mess in the first place. So the other reason might be maybe a management of a disease. We had mentioned in our first video, our introduction was that there's so many studies out there and doctors that are talking about how carnivore is actually helping people manage diseases. They're seeing effects on type 1 diabetes now, multiple sclerosis, and some of those videos are few and far between, but just the fact that they're coming out is a good reason to pay attention to what's actually going on within the carnivore community. The other thing I want to tell you is Bill and I look back on where we started with this and we're like, oh, we should have done this, we should have did that, and we didn't do it. One of the things we did is we hated pictures of ourselves, so we just deleted them. We're having a hard time scrambling up all of our fat pictures, so make sure that you compile pictures of yourself. It's motivation to stay on the right track, for one thing, but two, put yourself in the same clothes and watch how this affects your the composition of your body, because how carnivore handles the composition of your body is also incredible. Now, we did do the first year without any exercise, and we decided that as of this year, January, tomorrow, we're actually starting working on, we have a hoist workout equipment down in the basement, and so we're going to start working on our weights this year, and we'll see what that brings us for the next year. So we'll keep you posted. But anyway, so yeah, take pictures, take your measurements. Those are all good things to be able to physically see and let your mind comprehend what you're actually seeing, because I don't know, my image sometimes lies to me still.
Well, and also, yeah, keep your big clothes too. As you lose weight, I went from a size 42 waist, which you'll see a picture that we'll put up here, down to a size 34. And when you want to take those after pics, it's really handy to have those old clothes so that you can do that. But then you don't want to hang on to them because you don't want to go back to where you started. So,
right.
Absolutely.
And our first shopping trip, I went to Maurice's actually to get new jeans because I was struggling keeping mine up, and I thought maybe I had gotten down to a size 16, and I was pretty happy to find out I went from a size 24 down to a size 10, and it was a huge shock, but quite happy with those results. Anyway.
All right, number 5 is everyone in your family on board? And this is kind of important. I'll be honest with you. The number one reason Wendy and I have been successful at this is we've done it as a team. We're cooking and eating the same meals. We're staying away from all that junk together, and we're being anchors for each other. If we see one of us is going to stray, the other one's like, no, you're not going to do that. So
not every time.
Well, yeah, not every time, but
we suffer the consequences. We'll tell you about that later.
We're not that perfect yet, but we're working on it. We're working on it. But having your family on board. Some of you watching this video may have kids too. And there's a lot of great YouTube channels out there, Laura Spath being one of them.
Yeah.
You know, they have kids, they cook for them, you know, and she takes and has a few things that she'll make different. But ultimately, if this is good for your health, it's going to be good for their health too. It's just sometimes, you know, I work with a lot of people. It's like, oh, I just can't give up my sweets. Oh, he really likes to have his cookies at night at TV. Well, yeah, that's not going to be able to happen. And if you can have support where you're not having those cravings and or those things influencing you to want to have a cookie, then that's very beneficial. But if you can get your family on board, that is probably the best thing to do, because then everybody will be on the same page. You're cooking the same meals, and away you go, and you're going to have a lot more easier time on success. So,
yeah. So on to number 6, blood work and a physical to start. You know, we were really fortunate in doing that because we've been able to monitor the whole time whether or not our health was actually improving or if it was suffering. And by all means, by the 3rd time we had our blood work done, if it had shown that it wasn't improving, we wouldn't continue.
Right.
But because we are having such good success and we feel so good on this, we do suggest getting that physical, whether it's with your regular provider, and understand that not every doctor is going to be supportive of your choice to be carnivore. So, you know, if that doesn't work out for you, because that could actually lead to failure for you if you don't have that support from your physician. So make sure you have a doctor who is on board with allowing you to help make these choices for yourself. The other thing you can do, and is very affordable, is to go to requestatest.com, and we will link that below for you. But you can go and request your own labs, and then they will tell you exactly where the closest lab is for you to go in and have that blood work done. For us, it's LabCorp. I believe that would probably be the same for you. But definitely that, when you're eating such a controversial diet, it's just good to know that you're doing good, you're staying healthy, and the diet's working for you.
You bet. And that, it sets a baseline too. It's again, it's going with that baseline. You can see where you started and where you're going to finish up essentially with it. And it's going to be proof to those naysayers, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. But she brings up some very excellent points. It
keeps you in control of your health, and that's the way it should be, really.
And I'm going to remind, you know, through the different videos we do, these different topics. We'll cover these over and over again as we explain how it's worked for us in the different ways we've gone about it. So moving on to number 7, and we get asked this all the time: what is your budget and what is this going to cost? Now, you're eating meat all the time. This has got to be expensive, right? Well, yes, you've probably looked at the grocery prices. You know, you'll see some pictures here of one of the meat markets that we go to. And yes, meat is up there. But now if you think about it, what are you going to be purchasing? Well, you're going to be purchasing different cuts of meat, whether it be beef, pork, chicken, fish, whatever it is, lamb. And now you're not buying soda, you're not buying chips, you're not buying bread, you're not buying anything with sugar in it, you're not buying tortilla shells, you're not buying all of those things any longer that are costing you that additional money when you check out at the grocery store. Now it's only focused basically on beef, bacon, butter, eggs, meat products, and some spices and you know, some water, your coffee and things like that. So, you know, the cost is not as bad as it is. And you'll hear, and Dr. Barry will say this often, if you don't have a big budget, as long as you're getting away from those sugars and those carbs, whatever meat you can get, that's going to work for you. It's going to be a lot better than that other junk that you're buying at the grocery store. You know, another factor is in your budget, you got to factor on those electrolytes. We use LMNT, LMNT. And it's very important that you have that kind of a supplement. LMNT provides us with sodium, magnesium, and potassium. Now, for me, I get leg cramps, and this is one of those electrolytes that really help solve that problem. If I drink one in the morning and one at night, before I go to bed, I won't have any problems with electrolytes. But we also purchase and put in our drinks iodine, because we live in the goiter belt up here in the Midwest, and it's a very important supplement. It's good for your cells and it's good for your body overall. So a lot of water, your iodine, your LMNT, all of those things when you factor into your budget, and LMNT's not that expensive. You'll find some great deals when you go to their website. But factoring that and realizing you will actually save money by cutting out all that other stuff. So, number 7 is that budgeting, that costing, and it is not as bad as people talk about. Matter of fact, you will probably save several dollars on your grocery bill every month.
Well, and figure too, how many people have been told you have to eat 6 meals a day?
Right.
Well, now we're down to 1. So
Right.
there's your savings.
Yep.
It's pretty easy to see that it's a very reasonable, sustainable way of eating.
And 2, you're going to read a bit more that grass-fed this is better and grass-fed that is better. Well, I mean, yes, grass-fed that's like the Cadillac of the protein that you can purchase. But you can do just fine on store-bought chicken. You can do just fine on hamburger, on steaks that you buy at Costco, Sam's, and places like that. You don't have to do grass-fed if that's not in your budget. Matter of fact, we really rarely do grass-fed other than the half a cow we just picked up now. And that, again, will save you money. If you can find a good, reputable breeder and rancher around, get a half a cow. Then it'll save you many, many trips to the grocery store.
Yep. So moving on to number 8. Number 8 is preparing your kitchen.
Yes.
You're definitely going to need an apron or you're going to ruin all of your clothes. Guaranteed. So the first thing we did is we went through the refrigerator and the pantry and we cleared it out of all canned goods, all snacks. We removed all temptations. So you have to understand what those temptations are, and I still slip up today with checking the label. Like I'll grab something because I'm just assuming that it, for some reason, probably out of habit, that it's clean, and then he'll be like, check that label, and I'll turn it around, I'll be like, crap, throw it back on the shelf, So make sure you're going through the cupboards. I'd put it in a Rubbermaid container, put it in your basement, out of sight, out of mind. If you're not afraid to throw it out, throw it out. I've done that too on certain things.
Right.
Some things I do keep around just in case we have company for dinner and they eat it or whatever. But so that was the first thing we did, is cleaned out the pantry and the refrigerator. And then we stocked up on our electrolytes and our iodine. And I like the collagen. I am seeing a difference with using collagen. And one of the things is within a week, I lost these gel things down here. So that was kind of awesome. And it's helping with my hair, I've noticed. But yeah, so one of the biggest things is preparing your kitchen and make sure you wipe out any temptation that you're leaving behind. No temptation, it can't be an issue.
Right.
So number 9?
Number 9. This is another big one, and I'm sure you'll have a question about it. Social situations. What about when we go out to eat with people? What are we going to do? Well, for us initially, that was kind of weird going out, especially just at first going out by ourselves. One of our popular places we would go to would be Texas Roadhouse. And when they come up to order, my favorite there is the 2 pork chops. You get 2 of them, I think, for like $24. And when they come up, you just say, I want the pork chops and a big old bowl of butter. What about your sides? No sides. What about a salad? No salad.
Bring your own salt.
And yes, and bring your own salt, especially if you use seasoning salt. That way you can take and sprinkle that onto your burgers or whatever you get, and it'll make them taste that much better. So it can be a little awkward, but most restaurants, I don't think we've run into very many that have fought us on it whatsoever. I mean, realistically, we're not getting any sides that normally come with it. We're not getting the salad. We're not getting all those extras. So they're actually saving money by just making the meat for us and bringing it out.
Supper clubs seem to be the better option.
And you have to be, kind of a Midwesterner to have access to those supper clubs. But yeah, it's good old brandy old fashioned. Can't have that on Carnivore anymore either. Darn it. Anyways, so yes. Now, friends. Now you're going to go out to eat with your friends. Well, now they're going to, they're going to look at you kind of weird. And they're going to go like, what are you doing? Why are you just eating meat? And just explain to them from the research you've done and the testimonials that you've read and all the videos that are out there, you're really working on your health. And from what you've found, that's going to take and be very beneficial to you. But they're still going to look at you kind of cross-eyed. Not a lot of people understand this yet, but it is growing quite a bit. Yeah. And also kind of ahead of time, before you go out to eat in these social situations, you can get online, you have full access to their menus, and you have an idea of what you can take and order when you're there and be kind of prepped ahead of time. I know anytime we go out and there's prime rib, she's all kinds of giddy. She is on that. So having, an idea ahead of time when you go. And don't worry about being judged. Remember, at the end of the day, whether they understand it or not in them social situations, you are ultimately doing this to improve your health, feel better, look better, and live longer. So this is about you. And trust me, it's been a year for us. We don't care anymore. Everybody just deals with how we eat. So
They all know.
it's kind of funny. Absolutely.
Yeah, they all know now.
All right, Wendy, let's finish this off
All
with
right,
number 10.
So number 10, level of commitment. You guys, this is truly the only ingredient to your success. No matter any way you choose to take control of your health, your success or failure rate is all dependent on you and how much you commit to what you're doing. I think this is honestly probably the second time that we've committed to something, but the results have been amazing compared to other things that we've done. We sat last night with friends telling them, I want to say that I felt this good in my 20s, but honestly, I don't think I've ever felt this good. One of the things that I think we forgot to mention was that naps. I was always tired.
Oh, yeah.
Always wanting a nap around, sometimes it was 10 in the morning or 1 in the afternoon. That thought never even crosses my mind anymore. So much worth talking about. But yes, level of commitment, it's got to be 100%. It's all on you. So
yes, these top 10 for us. There are a few more that we didn't cover today, but these are the top 10. Most of them we didn't consider when we started Carnivore, and a couple of them that we did. And that's why we're putting this out for you, so that you can have kind of a checklist to go off of things to prepare yourself before you dive headlong into doing Carnivore. And it's really helpful too, especially in those social situations and determining that level of commitment you're going to put forward with it. Now, one thing I wanted to bring up that I forgot to bring up at the beginning, yes, she did not marry a new guy. I'm here, the same one from the first video, but decided to get rid of the beard. I don't think the beard was helping really.
I think he lost about 5 pounds.
Yeah, and I think my face has slimmed down quite a bit getting rid of that beard from the photos that we have had up, of how we've really changed. But same guy, just got rid of the beard, so this is how it's going to be for the rest of this year. And also, we've got several other really great videos going to be coming up. Obviously, the next one's going to be starting Carnivore. You will see one more video out there that I filmed when I still had the beard on with Wendy, and it was about the books. People were asking us about the different books and things. So if you see the beard back on, I really can't grow it that quickly. So it's not going to be back for the rest of this year.
Yeah, so we'll get that video up too with the books, the recommendations. In there is a cookbook that you could actually use to help get you accustomed to cooking Carnivore.
Yes.
So on that note, I think we'll sign off.
Well, yes, and if you like the video, please subscribe to our channel. We are really blessed by the amount of people that are watching it and subscribing to it already. We're messaging and communicating with us. It's really nice knowing that we're helping other people. I know with at least 1 or 2 others that are seriously doing research in this now and really thinking about jumping into it. So like and subscribe the channel, and our goal is to get at least 1 video out a week and get some good quality content for you guys to learn right alongside of us. So other than that, again, thank you, and
have a great night.
Have a great week as well. Bye now.
Bye.